Okay, perfect. All right. And hopefully you guys can hear me, see me, Crypto Azzy. Oh, let me check. I'm going live as well. Excellent. Live on Zoom, live on Facebook. Hello, guys. Happy Monday. We're back. And it's the mid-May, or almost mid-May, 13th of May. Wow, it's just flying, isn't it? So who was up watching the markets? That's what I want to know. This weekend has been wild, to say the least. I'm gonna get into it in a moment. But I'm literally going back and forth between my phone and my and this Zoom right now, because I just want to quickly see. We are literally at a point where the market is almost testing the resistance. So if you guys have seen, during the weekend it went sky high, broke another record, created another record for this year, at 7,503 according to CoinMarketCap, before it dramatically corrected below 7,000. Obviously it slightly differs from exchange to exchange, but it's about to depend on what market, what exchanges you're looking at. It's just literally fought off some resistance, and now it's I mean, just a few oh, I'm just watching it. Oh, it's happening at the wrong time. Literally while I'm going live, it's moving fast. Wow, it's getting ready to retest the previous high, and I wish I could watch it. But anyway, a lot a lot is going on. You can watch it as well with me if you want to, but it's just, I want to see it. I want to see what, whether it breaks that resistance or and corrects sharply like yesterday. And this correction is anticipated to be even worse than what we saw. So it's getting ready to, wow, it's going crazy. Okay, so whilst that's going on, I just want to see, give me a few moments. I just want to see it. Oh, it's actually passed. Let me update and see if it's showing on CoinMarketCap. Wow, you guys would be able to see this in real time as well. Let me update Trader View as well. Wow, you could see that bullish candle, engulfing candle. Ooh, wow, went straight through it. And let me just check to see if this is quickly updated on CoinMarketCap. Well, it's a bit slow, 7,490 from what I can see. Bitcoin's dominance is still at, well, it's almost at 60% now, 59.5%. Market cap at $222 billion. And Bitcoin obviously ruling the roost right now, making its plays. 132.5 billion from what I've just updated, but I want to see what happens. Oh my god, it's running away. So at this point, I mean, I want to be able to give you real-time information as well, which is why I'm going to have to go back and forth on this, but this is exciting stuff. But you can see it's literally jumped right now in terms of the change in 24 hours. 6%. Bitcoin's up by, well, 7.5 now. I just refreshed it. Yeah, CoinMarketCap is confirming 7,530 right now. Other exchanges are showing slightly higher price. And now I want to see this correction. I want to quickly catch this before I move on. You may be able to see this with me. This is exciting. when do we ever get the chance to be live on Zoom and actually see the market creating new highs? And it's just literally broken this year's record in the last 9 months. Let me see. It looks like it's about to, I may have spoken too soon actually. Might take a few more hours before we see a real correction, but I'm gonna break it down for you in a moment. It's just exciting to see this play out while I'm on Zoom live. So oh, it's pushing through. And ooh, okay. Anyway, so yeah, don't mind me while I go back and forth while I'm speaking and just checking to see where it's at now. Wow. Okay. It's almost like I'm afraid to look away because something new is, wow, it's incredible. Okay, so yesterday, wow, did you guys see Bitcoin's parabolic move up and then that sharp correction? Wow, it's just gone up and broken another record, 7,615 I'm seeing here. Wow, it's just flying, guys. 7,700 is where I'm looking at, that resistance level, 7,700. And at that point, whether if it does reject, if it doesn't even get to that point and it rejects and we see wow, I've just seen another sharp move up. It is spike, it's crazy right now. So yeah, so take a note of this. Each time I'm speaking, the bulls are absolutely tearing this thing apart. They're crushing any, God forbid, any bears with any shorts right now. There will be, wow, 6,000. Damn. The market is not playing today. It is not playing today. Just, and I said 7,700, right? Wow, it is flying, guys. It is absolutely incredible to see this happening. Hang on, let me just see if this is also reflecting on coin market cap, because that is a bit slow, but we'll see. It's showing up at 7,608. Guys, it's going parabolic as I speak. Let me see if it gets to 7,000. Yep, I'm seeing, at least on Bitfinex, 7,800 being surpassed. On TradingView, I'm seeing, wow, this is just something else altogether. It looks like it's going to have a very sharp correction after that, because if you guys see any fast moves, any parabolic moves that happen like this, several things are happening. We may be seeing some level of short squeezing going on. So the shorts, the bears that have placed shorts near the previous resistance that is just broken, they rather, obviously, to not get burnt, they liquidate their position, and you start seeing the buys rise. And so that's also helping the price accelerate. So we're going to see at what point it corrects. I just want to see if it's still, oh, there we go, the bears are fighting now. This is like its own melodrama, isn't it? You could wow, okay, you could probably follow that along as well. You can see, I'm just wondering whether this is the initial correction, a bit of an impulse move, and then perhaps another one last push by the bulls. But it looks, this one is going to be a bit severe when all is said and done. Pushing up, trying to get to 8,000 without no correction. the pain will be felt later. So this is a massive push up by the bulls right now. And let's see how the bears react. If any indication by what we saw yesterday is any indication, then this one looks to be more severe. But yeah, it looks like we're in the bulls territory right now. And okay, I better get on. This is fun watching. And anyway, so it's crazy how Bitcoin's dominance is at, well, I wouldn't say all-time high, only for this year. It's broken a record on that. 60, it's probably jumping over 60% now if I update it. Yeah, so many things have been going on, but for this particular catalyst that we saw during the weekend, where it gained well over $1,000 in such a short time, it's now well, 2,000, was it almost, it depends what exchange you use, but it's pushing towards almost $2,000 gain. Yeah, we're seeing terribly overbought condition, guys, with Bitcoin. And there is bearish divergence as well on the RSI. If any of you guys are trading this and you're aware of TA, technical analysis, you'll be looking to see, look for confluences and any particular, looking to gauge momentum in the market. But this, the market has anticipated the to see whether there's going to be another test to that new resistance that was created yesterday. And boy, the bulls absolutely killed this. And they're actually still trying to push through a bit. We may be, I don't know if that's going to be a double top or triple top, but right now it's forming a double top from what I can see. I'm watching it on the 1 minute just so I can get the most up to date. Yeah, that price action. So anyway, yeah, overbought conditions, bearish divergence. And we haven't seen this since, was it December 2017? So I think it was December 6th, just before we saw that parabolic rise that took it from $13,700 to almost 20,000. And, that was followed by a very painful a correction that lasted for more than, was it 18 months and so on. Just keep it, literally I'm going back and forth between my phone and the laptop and seeing where it is at right now. I want to see if the price holds or whether it's gonna consolidate or collapse, or whether we have a correction. And I expect there will be a correction for that as well. And so we've been talking about this for some time now, especially in the last few months, in terms of accumulation, in terms of volumes in the market, change in sentiment, developments in the markets and whatnot. And this is also, it's not just the developments we've been seeing, but also some technical factors at play here. Whales, market makers using these opportunities to create catalysts in the market, to have retail traders react. And so I think in terms of some of these bullish movements we've been seeing has been sparked off by traders that are either coordinating or retail whales, or a mix of oh, I'm seeing it drop now. So I'm sure you could see this yourself as well. Looks like it. Well, let's see if there will be a triple top, but from what I'm seeing right now, it's the double top that I'm seeing in terms of the candlestick formation. Okay, cool. It's still okay. It's heading down now, and yeah, I'm getting hooked on this. Okay, so 7,000. Where was it? 7,817 that I'm seeing. Let's see if there's going to be another push up. Doesn't look like the. Yeah, it looks like the bears are taking control. I'm sure you could see it right now. Let me see here. There might be one more push up if the bulls are really brave, but it looks like the bears are trying to control this. It's unbelievable. I can't believe that this is happening as I'm speaking right now. I said 7,700 being the resistance, and if it breaks through that, we're to see some level of correction. If it doesn't, it's going to happen at some point, but it'll be more painful. And yeah, let me get this updated on. Let me just see what CoinMarketCap is also saying. It will be impossible to see other exchanges. I didn't pull up the tabs to see what they're all saying, but just a weighted average that CoinMarketCap calculates. Yeah, I'm seeing it 7,720, guys. I'm not sure. I'm going to give it probably a few more hours to see how it plays out with the bears. What was it, 10? Wow. Another, that is crazy. It's now at 136.6 Bitcoin is in terms of market cap, and 227. It's crazy. Alts are pumping, literally top 100 in the green. But this is critical level. These are dangerous levels where we are right now, and I'm gonna break it down shortly. Just literally going back and forth watching this with you guys. So it has to stay above 6,600, guys. $6,600. If you look at the weekly time frame and you look at the baseline, that figure does change depending what chart you look at, what exchange and whatnot. But the area that I'm looking at, 6,600, it has to stay above that. It has to maintain that level, and if it breaks that, it has to stay above a previous support turned resistant turned support. It must stay over 6,000, and then if it breaks that, it has to stay above $4,400, which I believe is at 0.78 fib level. And the support after that is the previous low for this period of time. I think that was established in November, and 3,100, 3,200, around that area. That is the final support, and if it reaches at that point the second time, it's not going to be a strong support, and so it may give way at that point. Now, these are worst case scenario. Now, it's crazy to even think about that, let alone speak it, whilst we're literally seeing this live, breaking down, smashing through the resistance it set yesterday. And literally watching this as we speak, watching how this unfolds with the bears. But yeah, we have to anticipate some level of correction. Now, the higher the move up is, as in it depends on the pace, and we have to watch for bull fakes as well during this period of recovery. And so we want to make sure, especially if you look at the higher time frames, if you look at the weekly in particular, there's still some areas that we need to conquer, and we have to stay consistent. And these fast movements, although they're welcome, very welcome in terms of like the bullish sentiment is clearly there, the developments are happening, whatnot, But if these are technical, from what we can see, the majority are based on technical factors, and some whales and traders manipulating the price and using it as a way to catch each other out. So where short squeezes are concerned, because it is a bull territory right now, as a bear, you want to be extra careful not to get caught out with those short squeezes. And the whales love to help pump up the price as well. They see these these bears come in, forced to sell off, liquidate their position, helps to pump up the price, and then the whales would dump it at a profit. So this is why what we saw yesterday, there was no particular news story or developments that triggered that correction. It was literally a technical market correction that was to some extent expected, and it wiped off something like $400-500 off Bitcoin's price. And now, as we can see, it's more than fully recovered that. It's gained on that. It surpassed the resistance. But what happens now as a trader is where you want to be. You want to see what goes down with the bears, because if their strategy, if part of the reason that if you look at the weekly time frame, it looks like it's setting up for another severe correction potentially. And if that is one of the strategies, one of the plans for the whales, then a lot of bulls will be caught off. I'm talking about traders here, not long-term investors. A lot of the long positions that have been opened, BTC longs, they're going to have to be extra careful at this point. And remember, we've been saying that it isn't going to go to 10,000, it isn't going to go back to 20,000 without having one or two final push down, one final correction of some sort, something spectacular by the bears, in my opinion. And so we've seen we got a taster yesterday, but this second correction is the one we want to be watching now. If you're trading, this is the critical one. And so if there's hardly any resistance, I would be a bit worried. If we just see it continue go parabolic. And if you remember back in 2017, the indicators were showing overbought, and then we saw this parabolic run, and then a massive correction to the downside for months on end. So we have to be very careful. It depending, what you are doing in this market, trader, miner, long-term investor. You want to make sure you use these opportunities to shore up on your strategy and execute them without any, fear, any doubts. This is the point where you want to stick to your guns. Obviously, you can also adapt certain parts of it, but you want to be able to be ready to play at any given time. Excuse me. And I'm watching it right now. It's now, you also have to look for to see whether it does any higher lows, lower lows, and okay, maybe I should stop watching because this is actually distracting. But it's so cool that this is happening while I'm speaking, guys. And so the spike, the way it moves, especially any fast movements, it's not unsustainable. So there is a healthy correction to be had. And I think, with these, we're going to see many of these short squeezes happening. And some retail traders are going to get caught out by, if they're not careful, by the tactics of whales. And so we're seeing that this particular pump, it wasn't led, ironically, it wasn't led by FOMO, it wasn't led by mainstream buyers. It was actually triggered off by traders, by a whale or several whales. and they know these price points, they know the levels they're watching, and you know, so you know, these they're not exactly all calling me up. They don't all have telephone numbers of their own and coordinating a big hit on the market, or anything like that. It's just traders and whales have access to information that are able, that allows them to manipulate the market in such a way to use their funds to be able to push down and depress price. Now, you know, it is in the interest of whales, it is in the interest of traders to have, and especially even long-term holders, to try and depress price as long as possible, to prolong the bear market as long as it will go. And so, you know, any efforts by whales, so this is why it's such a critical moment where we're seeing a level of recovery in the market, but it's still, in some cases, there's still some opportunities for bears to play havoc and cause uncertainty and doubt, FUD basically, in the market. And this is where it gets real. But you know, institutional investors have been getting in the game since the, you know, since a few years back. It's only now they're stepping up their pace, and some of that information is becoming public knowledge. You know, but, and I'm going back and forth between my phone. So it's in their interest to try and depress price as long as they can. So we're going to see some sort of backlash, I would say, some sort of, you know, a couple of tries from the bears at the very least before this, you know, goes on another parabolic run like we saw in 2017. But the excitement is there, the sentiment is there, positive developments are there. You know, there are other factors happening that are helping the environment make it feel more conducive to, you know, towards the bulls right now. There's no denying that, but we have to be careful with what the bears are. I'm talking to traders in particular. You just don't want to be caught out by those insane moves that happen to trap retail buyers and sellers, so by whales, and so that's what, you know, you want to watch out for. But obviously you probably are aware of this. If you know, you'll be aware that it's clearly in the overbought conditions, overbought territory right now, and so we are going to see some level of consolidation set in as well at some point. But for now, it is, wow, it's now going sideways, guys. But that clearly shows there's some level of resistance there. Okay, the big move down might not happen whilst I'm watching, whilst I'm saying, while I'm speaking to you guys. Anyway, so several factors, as I mentioned before, no single catalyst for this particular price spike that we've seen. But what we have been seeing on the ground, Bitcoin's hash rate has been going up, the number of transactions have been going up, news developments, launches, partnerships have been going up. Also, we've been seeing a lot of people convert their altcoins and go back into Bitcoin, partly driving the rate of dominance, Bitcoin's dominance up. And also we've been, and you can see this, that a lot more Bitcoins have been transferred out of exchanges than going in. And so, you know, we're also seeing, you know, as I mentioned, institutions, they're trying to get ahead of this in terms of having these brokerage, these launches into a crypto space. So, you know, Fidelity, Ameritrade, E-Trade recently with their announcements. And the concern, as well as with these traditional investors, there may be somehow via over the counter trading and other means, being able to manipulate the price, so pump up the price for retail investors to get in, and then dump on them and basically sell off Bitcoin at that point to depress the price even further. We've also been seeing President Trump, he's always moving the markets one way or another, and he sparked off a global sell-off in the market. So even though we saw historic highs with the S&P 500, US 30 and NASDAQ, we're seeing a lot of volatility there right now because it broke new records, but then we saw that huge correction and followed by a bit of a recovery. But we're actually seeing people start to withdraw, sell off their stocks, and take, get their money out, basically get their funds out whilst the sun is shining, whilst it's good. And some of them are clearly judging we're at the top now, and things are unstable with a political aspect with China as well. They're a huge economic and political force to reckon with, and these tariffs, this back and forth going on with the tariffs, $200 billion worth of Chinese goods that he slapped on, and so it's starting to bite right now. And so escalating trade wars are never good for anyone, and so this is also playing into that plays a little bit of factor. I don't think this is the reason why the market in Bitcoin is moving, but certainly there will be some investors looking to diversify their exposure. Perhaps a small percentage would be to buy up Bitcoin to hedge their exposure to conventional assets. So that is another aspect to be aware of, but I don't think that's what's moving the crypto markets at all. I definitely think for now, for what we're seeing is the technical moves, either by whales or traders that are looking to take advantage of where we are in the market cycle and be able to catch the opposite side out unawares. And so this is why it's a very dangerous time. Either the bears are planning and plotting to try and help the market to drive it up. It's in their interest to have some level of volatility, but they're looking for ways, opportunities to correct and get in that short because it is overbought. But right now we're in bull territory. We're clearly in the season, so, and the market cycle looking to go into a recovery period. We're clearly seeing positive sentiments and positive developments that the market is pricing that in too. So several things going on all together, creating this perfect storm, as I mentioned before. And there are bulls as well taking advantage of these dips in prices to accumulate more. So, the way that we've been seeing price action develop in the last few weeks, it does look, it's an unmistakable pattern of Bitcoin where we've seen overbought conditions before, and they tend to go on longer than they should. And at some point there would be a correction for that. It will not just continue to go parabolic without some, comeback, without some price to pay for it. And so this is why, depending on your positions and depending where you come in, if you come in at the top of that move up, then, you're going to be caught out by the bears. And so, this is why, depending who you are or what you're doing in the market and your level of experience with trading or investing, and so this is why part of the danger, part of the, you can hedge part of the exposure that you get by investing long term, and these price fluctuations we're seeing eventually will get what do you call it? It will eventually be priced in, and is there a long-term appreciation of these assets that will matter? So the developments that we're seeing on the ground is what eventually that is what essentially matters. And so we're going to see a lot more strategies being employed by both sides to be able to take advantage of where we are right now. And I'm just seeing if the bears are about to break this market structure. It was going sideways, and now it looks like they might be making a move. It's too early to tell, but I can see them dumping. Okay, anyway, I need to move on. So what was I? Yeah, also with the concerns with Bitfinex and Tether, instead of leaving their funds up in Tether, we are seeing some move their funds to Bitcoin as a safety net, as a store of value, but clearly to try and protect their funds from any potential damage, that anything that may come out of Tether, even if it's rumors, even if it's not real, and is based on rumors that they're about to collapse, or something will trigger it off, and it will, spark off a major sell-off of Tether, of withdrawals of funds from Bitfinex exchange, and so on. So people are already taking measures right now to protect themselves, which is what any good investor would do anyway. So that's what's happening right now with Bitcoin, and the bulls are still fighting a little bit. Well, I'm just trying to. Anyway, I'll move on. Anyway, in other news as well, with Backed, they've set in a July date for testing their service as well for Bitcoin futures. They made the announcement via a blog post. The CEO of Backed, Kelly Loeffler, and she mentioned that they're still working closely with the CFTC, and obviously they still haven't got their approval. They're working towards that, and that they'll be testing their Bitcoin futures contracts this summer. And no launch date has been announced yet, but that proposal to do their own custody themselves with Bitcoin, and having the clearance done via ICE, their parent company's warehouse, that still needs to be approved and whatnot. So they're using that period during the summer basically to test this out, make sure everything is right before they actually launch. And over the next a few weeks, they'll be working with their customers and preparing for something called user acceptance testing, UAT for short, for their futures and custody. And that will start in July, is what she was saying. So they do expect to use this time to get feedback from their customers, to onboard them, make sure that everything's frictionless, smooth, and that they can test the trade-in. They can make sure the custody is working as it should and whatnot, and that more information will be launched. It will be shared over the coming few weeks and months, but also ICE did publish 2 documents as well, talking about the listing and certification of their products. So remember, they have a daily settlement Bitcoin future, and that will allow customers to transact in a same-day market. And then, I'm going back and forth between the chart, and a monthly futures contract as well. And another aspect is Backed is placing their own, to inspire confidence in their customers and in the market. They're placing they're putting in $35 million worth of their own funding into the clearinghouse risk waterfall as well. And so that's really to help to bolster confidence, ensuring, that their customers are, they feel protected to some level, and that they're going to have their own qualified custodian to provide custody services as well, and make it in-house, and uh, yeah, and also all of this though is still subject to clearance and approval. And this is why they're still taking their time. They'd rather be delayed. They'd rather be doing this properly. And if it means being delayed, so be it. But at least we're starting to get some, you know, some more information on this, even though these dates, I mean, they previously said they were looking to launch early 2019 in the first quarters, and that didn't transpire. I like the fact that they're still providing information and the progress, and taking in feedback and adapting to that as well, because in this industry we know nothing is for certain. So looks like the Bulls are still fighting. They're not giving up their position. Okay. And another thing is also there's major retailers that are going to be accepting Bitcoin as a payment method as well. There's been an initiative that's been brought. I'm going back and forth between the charts. Sorry, guys. I want to see what's going on. So Crate and Barrel, Nordstrom, Whole Foods now accept Bitcoin and 3 other types of digital money as well. And this has come about via partnership with Gemini. You guys know Winklevoss brothers own that, and Flexa as well, a payment startup. And they decided to piggyback on the digital scanners that these big retailers use to accept phone-based payments. So, when you're using your app to pay for goods, and, digital wallets like, Apple Pay and whatnot, in some stores, you can already use these apps and wallets to pay for your goods, right? But this is obviously helping to integrate the use of cryptos into their processes, making, having as many merchants accept cryptos as a form of payment is definitely going to help the rate of adoption in the space. It's also continuing to help legitimize the space, breeds more confidence, and sentiment is, continuing to be bullish, and it helps to increase that network effect for Bitcoin in particular. And the fact that they're working together, and with Flexa deciding, it's also, I believe, Baskin Robbins are going to be involved, Regal Cinemas, GameStop, and working with these retailers to configure their scanners, to change and adapt their scanners to recognize payments from their, from its crypto app. So, and it's called Spend, by the way, SPEDN. And all you have to do as a customer is simply, use your app to pay, or digital wallet like Apple Pay and whatnot. And so the store cashier at that time won't know, you're paying using crypto. They'll just be aware that you're using a digital mean. So they'll be able to scan it, receive that payment in real time. And, it could be crypto or dollars. And so, it is a big deal when these big names, household names that we see whilst we're driving, what we do our shopping now, whether it's grocery or other things. But the fact that, more and more over the bear market have been getting on board and accepting cryptos as a form of payment is helping to drive up the rate of adoption. As I said, it is a slow and steady approach, but it's actually helping to build a solid foundation. And so this is, is helping Bitcoin become more valued and seen as a store of value, but also as an ability to pay, having an ability to pay as well for goods and services. It's going a bit sideways now. Wow. Okay. So yeah, great. There's always great developments happening in space, and yeah, and I'm coming up to time right now. So what I want to say basically regarding where we are in the market, and where we're heading towards, clearly we are in the territory right now where, again, if you're a long-term investor, you're looking to accumulate, you're looking to use the pullbacks to be able to strengthen your current positions and be, depending on whether you're conservative or aggressive, you're looking to accumulate on that and make sure you have even position sizing and whatnot. But if you're a trader, you are moving with caution at this point. You certainly do not want to be burnt trying to catch the market at a point where it's, it can be manipulated by whales to, for example, with the short squeezes, be able to catch sellers unawares. And with the buyers, if you're taking a long position on Bitcoin in particular, then you're fully aware of the fact that there's overbought conditions, but you're also taking advantage of this current sentiment and the current volatility in the market. But as again, you've got to practice good risk management and not over leverage. Don't use crazy lot sizes right now, because as we've seen yesterday, Bitcoin, when it dumps, it doesn't play. When it decides to seriously dump, it taken $200, $300, $400, $500 within an instant, if within a few minutes and hours, if it wants to. So this is why we have to practice due diligence, and good risk management. And so this is so mesmerizing, guys. I'm sure, yeah. And I don't watch the market. It's not good to actually watch the market 24/7, and so I tend to be more disciplined about it these days, and just remain consistent and look at the price every few hours or so, just to see if there's any new developments, because I also research on the market. So I want to be able to, on the TA and the FA side, I want to make sure I get the full picture, and anything can change in an instant. So I have to do that. But if you're an investor, the last thing you want to do is check your blockfolio, your accounts every 10 seconds, every minute, every hour. That's going to give you stress. That's going to give you anxiety, and definitely do not recommend that. And try and be more disciplined where that is concerned. But what's happening right now, where we are in the market, more and more people are paying not only attention to the price, but they're looking to see what tactics, what strategies traders are in particular are using right now. If you're taking positions, as I said, if you're a bear, this is the point where it's super dangerous for you. Even though it's overbought conditions, you don't want to be caught out with those short squeezes. And with the bulls, I know it looks like we're in good times, great territory right now, but don't take that don't be complacent. Don't take that for granted. And it's still early days. I know it sounds crazy, right? We just saw 7,800, being surpassed, depending what exchange you're looking at. But it's mad. it's mad to, wow, that the bulls are still fighting. Okay, the because well, it might even be a few more hours before we see a real drop. But again, nothing is for certain where we are in the market right now. It's extremely overbought. I haven't seen it this overbought for quite some time yet. There's bearish divergence. And so we are to expect some level of correction, as I said. And it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds, even waiting until the following day, even sleeping right now. First thing I'll do is open up and check the prices across different exchanges, and as well as look at coin market cap, obviously, and also look at the developments of the day. And it's creating some sort of formational pattern on the I'm looking at the 1 minute time frame, by the way, because it, you know, it gives me the most up to date right now. I want to see if there's any dramatic move that happens while we're alive on air. But no, it's actually going sideways. There's still some level of resistance that the bulls are facing, because it is dropping off a bit now. I mean, it's tried to retest that level again, but it's struggling to go there. So let's see what happens. And the bulls are not ready to let the bears have their way right now. Yeah, there's still a bit of a fight going on, so that's why we could see a bit of the sideways movement. Anyway, with that being said, guys, I will leave you to it. Enjoy your week. Don't get too stressed or too excited. Either way, it's all going to work out. We just have to be fully aware of where we are in the market cycle, and all the developments that are happening to space and what's to come. But these are particularly volatile. Like, you can clearly see the volatility and the sentiment has returned. The positive sentiment has returned to the market, and the volatility, like a few hundred a day, even in a weekend, more than 1,000, coming up to 2,000 in terms of price changes and fluctuations on Bitcoin. This was the norm before, and it's returned now. You know, we're seeing more. We're seeing increased momentums on the bull side as well. So, yeah, this is going to be a bit of a fight, a duel, and we're going to see who has the better strategy where trading is concerned. I think there will be another correction, guys. I'm literally going back and forth between the charts, and anyway, have a fantastic week, and take care, guys. Peace out.